Tanit was a Punic goddess. She was the chief deity of Carthage alongside her consort Baal-Hamon. Tanit is also known as Ashtar, Astarte, Inanna Ishtar, and Venus, etc. I found some symbols for Tanit, and it's interesting because that's the symbol they use for the women's toilets. Extinction Rebellion is back on my list again. This is a reference to Alice in Wonderland. Semiramis, the mother and wife of Nimrod Baal. She was called Ishtar, Astarte, Astaroth, and Isis. Charles Dodgson went on a rowing trip on the river Isis at Oxford with his friend. During this trip, he told the tale which later evolved into Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Easter was originally the celebration of Ishtar, the Assyrian and Babylonian goddess of fertility and sex. Her symbols, like the egg and the bunny, were and still are fertility and sex symbols. What does a rabbit have to do with climate change? Purple with butterflies and one eye. This is a reference to the Justice card in the tarot deck. Justice is numbered 8, which is the snake biting his own tail and looping around the sun and moon. The blue, purple, and green connects to gamma radiation. This is the sign or posture of Tanit. Here's the Extinction Rebellion people doing the same gesture. They are wearing red, which connects to Inanna Ishtar and her prostitution priestesses robed in scarlet. Roses are one of Ishtar's symbols. In Egypt, she was called Katesh. Here she's holding flowers, and these are rituals to her. We have some artwork on a building. Owls represent Ishtar's dark altar Lilith, who was called the night owl or screech owl. Urzuli is one of the voodoo Loa. She's said to be a triple goddess and has 3 names. Urzuli Freda, who's likened to the Virgin Mary, Urzuli Dantor, associated with the Black Madonna, and La Sirène, a sea goddess. Urzuli is likened to the goddess Aphrodite and Venus. The Love Witch is a film about this person who uses spells to make men fall in love. We have green, blue, and red portal colours, plus the horned animal representing Cernunnos, and she has a rainbow jacket. Red Rebel Brigade walking down rainbow stairs. The gods were angry at mankind, so they sent a flood to destroy him. The god Ea warned Utnapishtim and instructed him to build an enormous boat to save himself and his family, and the seed of all living things. When the rain subsided, the boat landed on a mountain, and Utnapishtim set loose first a dove, then a swallow, and finally a raven, which found land. The god Ishtar created the rainbow and placed it in the sky as a reminder to the gods and a pledge to mankind that there would be no more floods. Here we have Iris, goddess of the rainbow, which is over her head, and underneath of her is Tanit with 2 doves. I don't know why they're lying on the ground, but that reminded me of The Devil Rides Out, and that scene was used in American Horror Story Coven. Some witches cast circles before magic or rituals are performed. The circle acts as a portal to the realm of the spirits and deities. They're saying this is protesting climate change, but I can see what you're really doing. In alchemy, we have Caput Mortuum. It's used to mock toxic. Why does this movement have that on their posters? The hermaphrodite child of the sun and moon, coloured vitriol. Vitriol was the most important liquid in alchemy. It was the one in which all other reactions took place. Vitriol was distilled from an oily green substance that formed naturally from the weathering of sulfur-bearing gravel. This green vitriol is symbolized by the green lion in drawings. After the green vitriol was collected, it was heated and broken down into iron compounds and sulfuric acid. This is green and red vitriol. We have the symbol for vitriol. It looks like a love heart. I never believed when they said this means love, because that's not the feeling I was getting from it. Another flyer from ex-rebel of a dove holding a love heart. It's not love. It could connect to Tammuz, who is also Cupid. Tammuz's lover was Ishtar, and her symbol is the dove. Black and white frequency with green. It happens to be holding the symbol of vitriol with green letters. Why is that? Because it's alchemy. The hermaphrodite child of the sun and moon, represented by the dove. I think that's vitriol instead of a heart. This is the second poster from them, and when I searched the picture, Google told me it's a stock dove. This is a bird in the pigeon family. The stages of alchemical progression involved in the great work, the ultimate goal of alchemy, involving the perfection of the soul, represented allegorically as the transmutation of common lead into perfect gold, or negredo, albedo, and rubedo, black, white, and red. The three colors are on the Extinction Rebellion poster and a scroll from the 1600s. The three birds in the vial represent the black, white, and red phases in alchemy. Repeatedly, the dove is separated from and returned to the prima materia. I'm sure you've seen this brand of shower products. Do you see the rose petals? Ishtar's symbols are the rose and the dove. In alchemy, an amalgam is a combination of two different metals. Working with metals, specifically transforming base metal into gold, is one of the key tenets of alchemy. This symbol indicates that a metallic alloy has been created by combining one metal with another. A typical example of this process is combining silver with mercury. These are some symbols for amalgam. I found a picture of Kylie Minogue with the drag queen. He happens to have this symbol on his dress. I noticed the drag queen has orange hair. This connects to the Mad Hatter. Orange is 33 in gematria, which is cinnabar, also known as red mercury, and that connects to portals. The Hatter has a portal behind him in the shape of hats. The wall on the left says Echo with the spiral portal, and the drag queen is wearing silver and gold. I've not seen this series, but it's the same thing, black and red, and they're both white, so that counts. One is blonde and the other is a brunette, which is the black and white duality. Next is Vodafone logo. It looks like a drop of blood, but also resembles a retort. Red and white colors. The O looks like a 6 and a 9. That's the sun and moon combined in the Kabbalah, so it's the same thing. Red and white represents the red king and white queen in alchemy. The bringing together of the red king and white queen is sometimes described as reflecting the process of both albedo and rubedo. That's why the white stripes always wear those two colors, black, white, and red phases. The presence of the Arabic definite article al in alchemy is a clear indication of the Arabic roots of the word. One of the most plausible hypotheses traces the origin of the word back to the Egyptian word kam-it or kemit, which indicated the color black and, by extension, the land of Egypt known as the Black Land. Another hypothesis links chemia to a Syriac translation of the Greek words kumia or chemia, meaning the art of melting metals and of producing alloys. A third interesting but far-fetched etymology suggests that the word alchemia derives from the Hebrew kimya, meaning divine science. The idea of a connection between the origins of alchemical knowledge and the Jews was widespread amongst medieval Arabic alchemists, who saw in this etymology a possible confirmation of their belief. These alchemists tended to attribute the mythical origins of alchemy alternately to the angels who rose against God, to the patriarch Enoch, to King Solomon, or to other biblical characters who taught humankind the secrets of minerals and metals. This interpretive strategy dignified the origins of alchemy and attributed alchemical books pseudepigraphically to authorities of the past, providing a safe mechanism for spreading alchemical knowledge, which could otherwise be persecuted for its proximity to magic. In Arabic alchemical books, alchemia tended to be a synonym for al-iksir, elixir, and was frequently used with the more general meaning of a medium for obtaining something. Arabic alchemists called themselves kimawawi, kimi, kimiyai, sanawi, or Siri. Siri, the artificial intelligence by the Apple company. Some people say that refers to the forbidden fruit, but I have a different idea. The apple of discord was the object used by Eris to cause discord among the gods. The apple is an important symbol for the Irisians, aka Discordians, who worship Eris. There's a coffee company called Pelican Rouge, which means red pelican. The pelican is shown stabbing its breast with its beak and nourishing its young with its own blood. The alchemist must enter into a kind of sacrificial relationship with his inner being. Anyone who has made true spiritual development will know well this experience. One's image of oneself must be changed, transformed, sacrificed to the developing spiritual self. This is almost invariably a deeply painful experience which tests one's inner resources. Out of this will eventually emerge the spiritual self, transformed through the pelican experience. The pelican stabs herself, staining her feathers red. Pelican, rouge. The final sublimation of the lapis. Here it is represented as a pelican said to bring its dead young, the base metals, back to life with its own blood, tincture. I found this walking down the street, Vitality CBD. I came across asteroid symbols in astrology, and this one is called Eunomia. Eunomia was the goddess of good order and lawful conduct. She was associated with the internal stability of a state, including the enactment of good laws and the maintenance of civil order. She was also the springtime goddess of green pastures. Why do they need to have these symbols on their product? This is a symbol for Eunomia, which is also a goddess. The planets and stars are named after gods and goddesses, so their products follow the same symbolic logic. Many here are aware of the Starbucks coffee creature. Atargatis is a goddess of Syrian origin whose worship spread to Greece and Rome. Doves and fish are sacred to her. Doves as an emblem of the love goddess, and fish as symbolic of the fertility and life of waters. She's so closely identified with the fish that sometimes she was represented in the form of a mermaid. Her upper half is that of a human and her lower is a fish tail. But in Africa she's called Yamaya, Mami Water, and La Sirene. Nivea shower gel for men. I've heard some say this is Nibiru, and another said it's a Saturn-Jupiter conjunction. When this happens, Saturn's rings make Jupiter appear to have wings, and they depicted this conjunction on body wash, probably because Saturn and Jupiter meet later in the year. This is basically the same picture, Jupiter with Saturn's wings on either side, and it's a red bull. So they have a red bull as well. Red represents fire, so who's the fire bull? It would be Molech, the deity worshipped in Canaan. It also connects to the astrological sign Taurus, the bull. How many people know that Taurus, the name of the zodiac sign, derives from a rather unknown civilization that lived in Turkey in ancient times? The bull was commonly the symbol and depiction of ancient Near East storm gods. Taru Ta is Gat Hati bull cult from some 5,000 years ago. Taru was the name of the Hatti storm god and also the basis of Hittite Tarhuns, Etruscan Tarkan, similar in function to Greek Zeus, Indian Indra, Roman Jupiter, and other Indo-European gods as well as Hurrian Teshub. In Sumer, starting around 4000 BC, bulls represented sun and sky gods, their highest gods. So, there is a continuity of bull cult for civilizations in Turkey and Mesopotamia for thousands of years. It might refer to goddess worship or womb worship since the bull has a similar appearance. The man has wings, but you see his legs? That represents the Trinacria. It has wings and bent legs. The symbol of Trinacria is now known because in the flag of Sicily and that of the Isle of Man, its history is complex and in some ways still shrouded in mystery. The Trinacria, symbol of Sicily, is composed of the head of the Gorgon, whose hair is entwined in serpents, with ears of corn, from which radiate 3 legs bent at the knee. Red Bull logo colours, Sicily flag colours. Tammuz, the name of a Phoenician deity, the Adonis of the Greeks. He was originally a Sumerian or Babylonian sun god called Dumuzi, the husband of Ishtar, who corresponds to Aphrodite of the Greeks. I'm sure you've heard of this celebrity gossip site called TMZ. Look at this. TMZ. Oh, busted. You got busted. I can show you another. Recent work suggests that the name of the easternmost part of Kent, the Isle of Thanet, is one that is of considerable potential interest, being indicative of a major pre-Roman trading settlement founded by Phoenician merchants from Cadiz and Carthage. Vanneman argues at length that an acceptable and plausible root for the original British form of the name Thanet, Tanita, Tanita, or Tanitos, according to Coates, is actually available in the Punic language via a name ETNT, meaning the Isle of Thanet. ETNT means the Isle of Thanet. Don't you have a channel called TNT with the fire portal because Tanit is the portal goddess and TV is a gateway? If you think they're not practicing alchemy, then what is this? Why call your cleaning product alchemy? And why do you think they have this symbol? How many times have they showed us this symbology? The story is the symbol spells out ALKIMI, alchemy, but it's written like that. They are showing you it's a sigil. I've done the video about sigils and how they work, combining letters to create a symbol of what you want to achieve, and that's what they've done here. If you're buying these products, you're buying the spells and rituals behind it. They really are using symbols and magic. I think buying off-brand is a lot better. I refuse to purchase something that probably hurt people during the production. If they say they aren't using gematria and alchemy, they're lying. It's important we recognize these things so we can cancel out the spells that are connected to them.